Hello, Gun Nation. How's everyone doing this evening? All right, we will do a quick roll call here and then we will jump into it. We got Mike High was first and foremost. Pistol Pete, Ranger 10. Let's see. Dirt Track 410, the Gunfighter 45, and I'm sure more will jump in and we will start saying hi. But I wanted to, I know we got a lot to talk about as far as the credit card purchases. I saw y'all were already talking about it. I've got it written down here too. Um, And then, I've been kind of trying to think about this, and I know, I know they've probably been doing this before, and they're just now letting us know about it. I'm sure we're probably all on some type of list. It is what it is. Because, and I've stated this before. Matter of fact, I was telling Harry about it. I was purchasing things like online with my credit cards. Um, and they were getting declined. My credit cards are good. So I was like, that's weird. So I would go in and try to enter it again, and it wouldn't go. This was hell like 6 months ago. And I was like, well, that's weird. And then I would, say, well, let me try a different credit card. So I put a different credit card in and it worked. So I'm like, well, that's weird. And thinking about it, back then, one of them was like a Visa, one of them was Discover. And for some reason the Visa wasn't working, but the Discover would. My Amex has always worked, so I don't know. But I've had problems with this in the past. I don't know if y'all have, but I have. So I'm sure we're probably already on a damn list. Because if you really read the articles and stuff, they've been talking about this has been happening for quite a while. That they've been trying to get this pushed through for quite a while. So other people could have already just went ahead and started doing it, and now they're all on the same page or something. Who the hell knows? I got a little bullet bourbon. So cheers, everyone. And of course, if y'all have questions, comments, anything like that. Oh, Brian, I've been looking forward to a good dose of reality. Yep. Well, I'm going to give it to you. Hey, Floridian, how are you? Big Johnson Guns and Gear. Getting shipped. Oh, I bet I know what you're talking about. Did you get it? You don't have to say what it is, but did you get that deal so it's already shipped to you? Yeah, Brian. The federal government is trying to get rid of cash. They've actually been trying to get rid of cash for quite a while. If you remember, I even brought it up a long time ago where I travel and it says we're having a national coin shortage. They were trying to get you to use credit cards because I'd go in there with a 20 or 100 or whatever, and they would say, "Oh, we have a national coin shortage. Can you use your credit card or whatever?" I think they've been pushing this bullshit for quite a while. What's it called when government and companies work in tandem in order to push policies? It's called bullshit because I guarantee you that's what they're doing. Big Johnson Guns and Gear, it should be here by the end of the week, but I won't get it for 2 weeks probably. Hey, man, congratulations that you're getting it. Hey, what's up, Havoc? How are you, man? Hey, Big J and chat family just left the great state of Texas after watching my Bucks beat the Cowboys. Yeah, yeah, that was a pretty sad game. Hello, Double B. Hello, reloading from the hot pot. Hey, King Dingaling, have you heard about the proposed 20% increase in tax to manufacturers that make AR-15s or AR-15 like rifles? I actually heard of a higher tax originally than 20%. They were trying to, at one time, it was like 100% tax. That's why, and I said this a long time ago, whatever you were going to buy in the past, I would have already bought. I mean, I'm not really searching for any AR stuff. I loaded up on extra bolts and all that other kind of stuff because first thing to fail on an AR-15 could be your bolt or your extractor, like we've talked about before. So I would definitely keep those on hand. Those you can pick up at gun stores. You can pay cash for them. But someone mentioned it earlier. I can't remember who did. But, as far as like trying to buy parts, and I honestly think this is their version, hear me out, to put us on a list, but it's also, this is their way to try to get us to stop doing online sales for parts. Because think about it, unless that place starts taking PayPal, and PayPal, you know how they are. I don't know if y'all know, but they don't like gun stuff. They can actually freeze your account and keep your money. That's the way they are. If you try to buy gun parts with them. Matter of fact, like Bowtech and all of that, they won't even take PayPal because they will freeze their accounts also. And just, I have a friend of mine. Well, I'll go ahead and say it. Vulcan Machine Works. They were using PayPal way back when, and they actually had their account frozen by PayPal. Vulcan Machine Works did. So, and it was a lot of money that they had froze. So, because they found out they were in the gun business. So, I'm just telling you, it's nasty with PayPal too. So, don't try to use it because they'll come after you. But, what they're trying to do, I think, is kill the credit card business. So I don't know if these places are going to start taking crypto. I don't know if they're going to start taking like online checks. You can do like checks online. I don't even know the last time I wrote a check. Money orders where you have to mail it in and get a money order and all that stuff. And by that time, it might be just cheaper to go to your FFL, to get what you need so you don't have to wait. But that's going to kill the gun parts business online. It's going to kill it because a lot of us aren't going to want, that information or them to capture our information, which they probably already have. But it's going to make more people stop buying parts online. So, like Primary Arms and all these other places, it could be really devastating. So just, be aware. But like I said, I think this has been going on for a longer time than we're just now really finding out about it right now. Let's see here. Yep, Big J, that reminds me, I got a thing messaging you on Telegram. If that's truly you, sorry I offended you. I know you're a legit. No, it was not me. I don't do that shit. It's scammers. I've put all kinds of alerts out there. I've put stuff on the community. I've even said some things in some videos. It is not me. It's this, and it's happening to all channels. These scammers are going on there. They're taking our icons and saying, you want a prize, telegram me or call this number or whatever. And I'm sorry that's happening. I'm trying to go through and I'm reporting every one of them and deleting every one of them. However, some of them still get through, or I can cancel it, but you've already received it on your end. So, just be aware of it. I'm not doing any of that crap and saying any of that crap. It's happening to me, Guns and Gadget, Humble Marksman. I mean, it's happening to all kinds of channels. I don't know. It's probably some Nigerian king or something, and you've won billions of dollars and all this bullshit. So it's not me, I assure you. Yep, double B, and that's what I was saying a long, long time ago. I've already got all that stuff. Hopefully y'all have too, so you don't have to mess with this bullshit. Yep, Matt, I've said the same shit. It's just ridiculous. How does credit card companies know if you buy kayak or pew pew in the sporting goods store? That's true. And also, from what I've heard, I don't know if this is true, but what I've heard is some of the firearms companies or gun stores, what they can actually do is go in and change their credit card code. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know, but I've heard that they can go in and change their code. So I don't know if that's true or not. I don't, have a credit card machine here at my house, so I don't really know how that works. But hey, Big Al, how are you doing, buddy? Thumbs up, please. Yes, I'd appreciate it. Get a few lowers and throw them in the safe. Yep. It is. It's not getting. It's not getting. It's not going to get any better. It's not going to get any better. They want to track all purchases. Yeah, they do. Yep. I have also won gift cards in the past, and I've done all this other stuff. And some of the gift cards, when you try to use them at like online, part stores and stuff like that, for guns, they won't work. I've tried to do it sometimes. Some of them will, but some of them will not. It'll just say can't be processed. So I've gotten some kickback stuff. So I don't know if they know it. I'm sure they know it's a gift card, but if you know, maybe they're trying to. And the gift cards were good, but some places wouldn't accept them. Yep. If you're buying holsters and ammo, they assume you own that weapon. That's true. Now, from what I understand, it gives a code, but it doesn't say exactly what you bought. However, every time you fill out a 4473, um, and you're called in, like you don't have your LTC or CHL, they're calling that serial number in under your name. Um, with an LTC or my license to carry in Texas, I'm already pre-approved, so they're just writing it down, and the gun store is keeping the paperwork. They're not calling me in for an approval because I'm already pre-approved. Y'all know that if you have the LTC or CHL, so they're not having to call every time on me. Hey, what's up, Clyde? How are you? Yeah, I was just talking about this the other day. Um, a buddy and I were talking, together, and I looked down at my phone after we finished our conversation, and we were talking about a certain item. And I'm not joking. On my phone, that item and some other items that were similar popped up saying, "Hey, look at us." And then when he got home, like an hour after that or 2 hours after that, he started getting things that we were talking about too. So your phone's always listening. Your smart TV's always listening. There's shit always listening. So y'all don't know that. Well, y'all probably do know this. I'm going to call my credit card companies and ask for bonus cash back on my next Staccato. Um, and I've done this numerous times. Tons of these holsters, my Surefire Turbo, all these other things. I bought them with all my cash back points on my credit cards. Um, I get how y'all get those cash back things. I just save them all up, and when I want to buy something, I just use my points. So, you know, and everybody, I know it's not free. I mean, it's still my money, but you know, I don't get charged for it. So, no, I did not see that DeSantis sent 2 planes of illegals to Martha Vineyard today. I did not see that. That's awesome. Boy, Chicago got all pissed off because Texas sent, I guess, a couple of busloads there. And then, she threw a fit and got on to Governor Abbott. And then she turned around and shipped them to suburbs and didn't even tell the mayor of that town. So, I mean, it's crazy. Hello, Abigail. How are you? Or fumble. Is anyone else ready to fight if Republicans don't take Congress in the midterms? Yeah, I mean, what I've said, okay, with all this ATF stuff and all, trying to push this and push this, these unconstitutional laws, with them pushing all this stuff, you have to make up your mind when enough's enough. Okay? Are you going to listen to all these rules and illegal crap they're trying to push and fold like a lawn chair? or are you going to continue to do what you want? That's what you got to ask yourself. Because I've always said this: why would a free man need to ask permission? Why? You don't. Hmm. Well, Clyde, look at that, man. I appreciate it. Said all is well. I'm actually on a gig playing the sax while listening to you on a break. Man, that's awesome. I appreciate that, Clyde. Thank you so much, man. I'm telling you, you know how we say Republicans, Democrats, all this. There's some slimy son of a bitches on both sides. Excuse my language, but there are. There's a lot of bad people on both sides. Ranger, I have said that 1,000 times. She is definitely Beetlejuice. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, she is a freak. Abigail is happy to be out of Illinois. Don't say anything online. Like I said, you know, sometimes we got to do what we got to do. We got to say what we got to say. Yes, I don't know if y'all know this, but there is actually a refrigeration unit at our borders that they're having to use for this exact reason. I think they've got the last count was like 18 or 19 very recently. What's up, the gun snob? How are you? Hey, Rodema, how are you? Got the POF Minuteman 5.56 in tungsten arrived today. Congratulations, man. POF makes a very fine rifle. I've got a few of them. There is no accountability, Bald. You're exactly right. They do what they want to do, and whoever they're paid by or gives them hush money. Did y'all see that? Happen to see the thing that Rand Paul did against, we'll say, Dr. F for the jab? Did y'all see the thing that he did today? He raked him over the coals pretty good and asked him a couple more things. How much kickbacks are you getting from Big Pharma? Still wouldn't admit it. He said, I don't have to tell you that. So that's like the fifth time he said that. So all that bullshit, all these people that were pitching that, they were all getting kickbacks and probably still are continue to get them. How's the job hunting going? Pretty good. I've talked to a bunch of my contacts. Don't have anything set in stone yet. I've been, sending out some resumes, things like that. So I've got a few things lined up. I'm just kind of looking at some options. Don't have anything officially yet, though. Yep. If you're not already on a list, you're doing it wrong. I agree. I agree. Big Al said, went to a Home Depot today in Texas and thought I was in a cartel meeting. Hey, man, trust me. I see it all the time. Let's see here. What watch is that, Big J? Believe it or not, it is one of my. It's a Casio Duro. It is the green face, and it has the vintage. This is a separate band you can buy, but it has the vintage James Bond band. That's what they call it, a vintage James Bond NATO strap. Um, it's actually a really good watch, and it's not expensive. and it's a 44 millimeter. And of course, you have your little turn dial and stuff like that, bezel. But it's the green bezel with the black face. On a Rolex version, that would be called the Kermit or the Starbucks. The green face with the green bezel is called the Hulk on the Rolex. Have you thought about becoming a politician? Seems they are getting rich without working. Yeah, if you really look at, like, if you really check into their portfolios, such as Nancy and all of them, I mean, they are multi-millionaires. Some are billionaires, you know, and they're in Congress, they're in the Senate. I mean, it doesn't make sense. They work for the people. But with all the kickbacks and the promissory of when they get out to have a job, Bloomberg has bought many of them. So when they leave or they get out after they buy their vote, they go to work for him. I mean, there is so much of that shit going on. Insider trading. I mean, it's crazy. It is crazy. What's up, Lamarcus? How are you? Let's see here. Immigration needs to be fixed. There's no legal way for those people to come here. Creating some kind of guest worker program would solve all of it. What they're doing is they're letting them in, trying to buy votes. They're thinking if they keep it open, just let them come, let them come, let them come. That's going to give them more votes. There's a big method behind all of this madness. They could easily shut it off. They choose not to. We are only one state. We only have so many people. Other states, they're in the same situation we are, but it is what it is. Big J, going to the gun show in Fort Worth this weekend? No, I'm not, Radama. Um, I've been to that one several times, and it's good to go because I know some people that are there. It's good to go and see people. However, gun shows really nowadays aren't what they used to be. You can find some deals periodically, but some of them you can get them cheaper in the store, and especially with ammo. Some of those people want a ton of money for the ammo. And what they do at those gun shows now, I see them really kind of baiting the new gun owners or the new gun buyers that don't do their research. I'm not saying everybody, but it's not the deals like they used to be back in the day. Hello, Two Willing Nut. How are you? Yeah, but all they have to do is, Big Al, is say they're not doing it. That's all they have to say. I mean, if they really checked into them, tons of them would be busted. Yeah, I haven't verified this. Pistol Pete saying her Pelosi's net worth is 135 million. I bet her husband's is even higher, and their son. And if you'll think about it, when she took that trip to Vietnam, her son was her escort, and he had business meetings there. She denied it, and there's all kinds of pictures where he was in business meetings on the side. So let that soak. Yeah, only a citizen can vote. I do agree with that. However, I think there's some shady stuff going on in a lot of these different states. Hey, Chris, how are you doing, man? Dennis Buckner, how are you? If dead people can still vote, can we use credit cards to buy guns? Yeah, it's crazy, man. Hunter Biden's net worth $230 million. Wow. Wow. Yeah, and also remember he with his gun situation, could check into that too. I should go to a gun show and sell my POS Springfield Prodigy 4.25. Customer service is overwhelmed. Wow. Yeah, you're not the first one that I've heard is having issues with theirs. I've had a lot of people message me saying that they're having some issues. Most of it is feeding. The disconnector's getting hung, and I told you when I played with that one in the store, the disconnector is definitely hitting on the top of that slide pretty badly. Just the one I just dry fired in the store. Um, so, I mean, it is what it is. And we got to look at it this way, and I really commend them for coming out with that price point because that's pretty awesome. Um, to get a budget friendly option of hopefully a reliable 2011 out there or 1911 double stack. But you know, if you look at that gun, and there's already been tons of videos where they've completely disassembled the gun, everything in its mem. And the thing about metal injection molded parts is there is no, like, one could have a 5.5 pound trigger, one could have a 6.5 pound trigger, one could have an 8 pound trigger. I mean, there's a lot of variables there with those mem parts because they're mem, they're injected molded. So you're going to have overlap and things like that with that. And that is what it is. So then it said I would buy the Bull Armory 4.25 or 5-inch over Springfield Bull Armory is only $300 more. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you want to do for the long haul. And Bald knows this, and I have had a friend that told me this too. That the Bull Armory does have its own designated mags or proprietary mags. However, I know MBX makes them also that you can purchase that fit the Bull Armory. But a regular 9mm staccato mag supposedly will not work in a Bull Armory correctly. I think Ball tried his 40 caliber or something like that, but it is what it is. But if you want to purchase other 1911s or 2011s in the future, it is good to have the common 2011 mag for all of them. But if you want to buy a Bull and then have those mags for the Bull, and then buy another 2011 and have those mags for those, that's great too. It's whatever you choose to do. Hello, Scott. How are you, man? Good to see you. Hello, Kathleen. Kathleen, long time no see. How have you been, my dear? Hope you're doing well. Yes, and she is saying that the all metal M&P just came out, and I did talk to Harry today from Harry's Holsters, and he actually put his hands on it. So his local gun store had one in stock, put his hand on it, and he told me it felt really nice. He really liked it, but it is like $800. So you have to decide, do you want an $800 striker fired gun? I think what would have been really cool if they would have done it, M&P to have come out with the all metal M&P, but make their first kind of single action M&P with maybe a safety, kind of like a 2011. That would have been really cool, just to make something different. But a lot of people like it. I don't know how well it's going to sell, but we'll see. Yes. Simper Cole, the Springfield Prodigy mags do work in the staccato. The Bull Armories do not. And those are made by Duramag. Duramag is known for their AR-15 mags. They're not really known for a 2011 mag. When I looked at them, I took it out of the gun and I was kind of looking at it. It looked a little rough. And I talked about it, the feed lips weren't completely smooth, but you could polish it, you could open them up, you can do some things to it or tune them, so to say. Or you could just run staccato mags in your Prodigy if you wanted to. But yes, they will work in the Prodigy. Your staccato mags will. Let's see here. Where is a good place to get red dot plates for my staccato C? You can get them through Staccato. You can get them through Dawson. You can also, there is another plate manufacturer. It really depends on if you have the Carry C2 or you have the tactical C2, because and the way you're going to be able to tell is from your front sight. So if you've got the lower front sight, that is a carry version. If you have the taller front sight with the green fiber optic, it's kind of like a block and then a little fin on the top. That's the tactical version. Those work with the Staccato and the Dawson versions. The carry one, if you get that other one, I can't remember who makes it. God dang it. It's a company that makes a lot of the plates. But if you get their version, you do have to change it out and make sure you have the shorter front sight. Somebody will probably put it up here in a second, and I'll be able to tell you. Kathleen is doing better. Thanks for asking. Not shooting much. Oh, I didn't know you were. I hope that you're okay, Kathleen. I didn't know that you were. Something was wrong. Hope you're doing well. Yes, and I did play with that the other day. The Hollow Sun making a direct mount for the Glock MOS. It is really low. I think that's a great option if you have a Glock MOS. I think that could be a great option. The only thing that concerns me is that you can't put a battery in it. Supposedly is charged with light. Um, it has a little capacitor in there that holds the power. Hopefully, they don't have any problems with it. They might eventually. I mean, who knows? But I don't really have any experience personally with it. But I did look at it. Yes, Dennis, you are correct. C&H Precision. That is who I was talking about. That also offers a plate, but they only make it for the carry version, so you will have to change out the sights. Let's see here. I think the Prodigy is good for the 2011 platform. I believe Springfield will learn from the Prodigy and make it better, or another company will come in and make a better 2011. I agree, Lamarcus. That's what I was saying. Anything that gives more people an opportunity to get into a 2011 that are 2011 curious but don't want to spend 3,500 or $3,000. I think it's great to have another flavor in the option. You know, not a bad thing at all. Smith and Wesson missed it with a CSH or CSX on the right path. They needed to make a full size with a true single action trigger. I said the exact same thing. If they would have made that like a true compact or even a full size and not that little small like a 938, I think they would have had a winner and changed that trigger and make it a real freaking single action trigger, not with a dead reset. That second reset is trash. And if anybody has one and they love it, I get it. But only, if you've ever played with one, and I've never shot one, I've just dry fired it. But that trigger, man, you got to let that, it gives you that false reset and you think it's reset, but it hasn't. You have to go out a lot longer. And that's not any decent 1911. Matter of fact, that trigger on the CSX is worse than the Prodigy. So that's not a true 1911 trigger in my book. It's definitely not. Hello, Lynn Holt. How are you? Let's see here. Oh, also do have some stuff that's being sent in. Um, they're manufacturing it right now, so as soon as I get it, I'll definitely share it with y'all. But it's some new stuff that's coming out that I think is going to be a really cool thing for the gun enthusiast. So, but you could say that it's really not just for the gun enthusiast, it's for everybody. But I think it's going to be a cool option. So we'll talk about it more when I get it in. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet. But it is some new products from a company. And it's a company that I worked with and I have for a long time. So I think it's going to be a neat thing. I'm going to look at Nighthawk TRS Commander tomorrow. Good price, almost new. Those are nice guns, man. I really do like them a lot. Um, and they're, if you wait on them, they take, gosh, I think they take like 8 to 12 weeks, sometimes longer. if you custom order one. So if you could get one at a right price, those are great guns. Glock should come out with a PCC. They make a gazillion just because it says Glock. Yeah, and they've been talking about it, and they have a patent on one. If y'all have seen that leaked for a long time, they've had that that supposed patent for one, and I think it would be a big hit. I mean, and a lot of the PCCs take Glock mags. Hell, mine does. And PCCs are fun. I know they get a lot of shit in USPSA, and people say, "Oh man, if you shoot, PCC and USPSA, you're cheating or you're this or you're that." I look at it this way: have fun. Who gives two shits? If you want to shoot a PCC, shoot a PCC. Stop being a hater, man. I mean, just love everybody, man. They're out doing the same thing we're doing. Firearms are firearms, man. But any of those people that haven't played with the PCC, like an AR type, because for one, when you shoot it and you play with it, and you kind of it helps you, stay up with your AR fundamentals, with your similar platforms. They're just fun. I mean, I enjoy shooting mine. Matter of fact, I need to drag it back out and shoot it more. Brian is saying you're over 19,000 in subs. Yes, Brian, I am. And it's all due to y'all. And it's really not subs. Remember, it's family members. We're all in this together. Y'all make it happen. Let's see here. What is your take on the SIG P320 M18? I think it's a good gun for somebody that wants something like that. I wish SIG would kind of revamp that gun, bring down the bore axis, just kind of make it all the 320s in general is what I'm saying. I just wish they, rather than just, hey, we added ports or we added this or we added this lipstick or we put, these different grooves on it or slide serrations. I wish they would kind of revamp it totally, and just bring a lower bore axis. A lot of those, and anybody who shoots them will tell you this, and I've shot them for years. Trust me, I've owned, 3 of them? Not the M18s, but 320s. But, they do have that bucking. They're known for that. Not that it's a bad thing. That's just a characteristic of that gun. But I think with bringing down that bore axis, it would actually help it even better. Not saying it's a bad gun. Don't. I'm not being a SIG hater. If you love SIG, cool. Kathleen is saying, Big Johnson Guns and Gear, what are you carrying these days? I am carrying the Staccato C2 with the Threat Cadre comp. And I'm also carrying the MPA DS9 Commander. So I've been carrying those two, both with the X300 Surefire. The MPA has the Surefire Turbo, and the other one has the Surefire U. So really enjoying 2011s. And if y'all remember, I'm a 1911 guy from way back, so I've just kind of made the circle back around to the 2011s. Really, really enjoying them. I love the triggers. I'm so used to the safety. A lot of people say, oh, during a situation, you're not going to flip it off. And I've said this before. If you watch my video, even with a striker fire gun, I will go out with a striker fire gun, and the first thing I do is I flip the side of the gun, even on a striker fire, because I was trained on 1911s. So on striker fire, if you train that way and you just go to hit the safety down, there's no safety, but you're not losing your training for that. So that's what I carry. If someone breaks into your house and you have a choice between a 9mm pistol or a PCC, the PCC is better in so many categories, as I'm sure what you're meaning. I'd agree with that. You have more points of contact. You can actually put a sling on it. If you had to run in and grab your kid, you would have it on a sling. Matter of fact, you could grab your kid here. You could have your sling around you and shoot this way. If they were to try to grab your gun, it's going to have a hard time pulling it off of a sling. So I totally agree with that. And you're going to get more velocity. So if that's a concern, you could use frangible 9mm ammo if you're concerned about wall penetration. But more points of contact. You could have a light on it with a push button. You could have your optics on it, however you want to do it. You just have to remember on a rifle, you have height over bore. So you do need to know if your dot's saying here and you're close, your bullet's going to impact lower. That's what everybody has to remember. So if you know your height over bore, you're not going to have a problem. And on a torso, I'm talking your height over bore is going to be this at a close distance. So if you're at a torso, you're good either way. If you're trying to scalp them here, you could shoot a little bit above. You kind of get the point. Height over bore is a concern if you're not familiar with it. Dennis Bugner. Big J, question for you and the group. Keep my Beretta 92G LTT and RDO, slide it or sell it? I'm just going to say this. The Beretta 92G LTT with the Langdon Tactical RDO slide, not the factory little plate that you put on the top, but if you have it milled for the RDO slide through Langdon Tactical, it is legit. I've shot it. It is a fun-ass gun, and 90% of people will love it, and I love it, but I don't like the slide length. That is my big problem, because when I put my hand on it, and if I go to change mags, it pinches this meat. It just pinches the shit out of it because the slides are too small for my hand. Most people will never, ever, ever have that problem. But I really do love the Beretta with the rodeo slide, or with the rodeo housing, or the rodeo mill. SIG MPXs, yeah, man, they're great. SIG MPXs are very nice rifles. The only thing about them, if I have to knock them for something, is the weight. They're great. They run like a dog. I mean, they're great rifles, but they are freaking heavy. That's the only knock I have against them. Not that it's a bad thing, but if you had to wag that thing around for quite a while, ounces equal pounds. We all know that saying. But yeah, I mean, they're great rifles. Big J, you should patent the 3011 triple stack 1911 made for dim cities. Yeah, that would be cool. I've seen the double 1911, the double barrel 1911. I actually put it in my hand, made by Arsenal. Didn't get to shoot it, but man, that thing's awesome. But Kathleen is saying PCC or shotgun for home defense. It depends on the person, because I'll just say this: I can shoot a 12 gauge, no problem. Doesn't bother me. I could just shoot them and shoot them and shoot them. They definitely have more recoil. So, but if I were to put my wife behind it or something like that, a PCC is going to be much more manageable for her to use that than a regular shotgun. So it really depends on what you're wanting to do with it. The only thing also, I mean, with a shotgun and buckshot, you've got, say, if you have a 9 pellet or 8 pellet, that's basically like 8 or 9 millimeters coming at you. So it's going to mess your world up. I would not shoot a slug inside of a home, because in my area, if I went through my front door, and my front door is solid, it's solid oak. But if I went through that front door, it's definitely going to probably hit my neighbor's house. So that would be my main concern. But, it really depends on the person behind it. Both of them are great choices. Just depends on what you like. I will say this. I mean, you could suppress either one of them. It's easier to suppress a 9 millimeter PCC or a 300 blackout or something like that versus a shotgun. Shotgun suppressors are not super common. I know people who have them. Some people say they like them. Some people say they don't like them and they own them, the suppressors for a shotgun. It is what it is. But 9 millimeter in a house, whether it be a rifle, and if you think about it this way, when you've got that pistol out there and you've got that rifle out there, if you've got the full reach on both, your muzzle end is about the same distance. If I'm holding both my arms out like that, And a rifle like that, I've got that muzzle far enough away. So yeah, it's going to be loud in a house, but it's going to be a hell of a lot quieter than a 12 gauge, you know, 12 gauge going off. 12 gauges are not fun inside of a closed environment, especially without hearing protection. I've shot 12 gauge in a farmhouse. I've shot 9 millimeters in an old farmhouse, and the 9 millimeter was definitely easier on the ear than the 12 gauge was. Both of them are loud. Yeah, if I was picking between the 226 or the 320, 226 all day. I got a bunch of it chopped off. I don't have my hippie hair anymore, Kathleen. I got it all whacked off. After he cut all that long hair off, it looked like somebody shaved a dog. Uh, and a lot of people are saying 12 gauge, 20 gauge, 16 gauge, stuff like that. Here's what I look at. Here's the way I look at it with shotguns. I've shot 20 gauge. I've shot 410. I've shot 16 gauge, but I did not own that. Um, and of course, I've shot 12 gauge. But I look at it this way: if you're going to personally buy a shotgun and you're going to keep it for home defense, I always recommend a 12 gauge because the ammo is so much easier to find. 12 gauge has been around forever, NATO type spec stuff. Um, you can get it. You can also get low recoil 12 gauge, which actually does help. My wife has shot it before. I think it's made by Federal and it's called low recoil or less recoil, something like that. I forget the exact name of it, but it's buckshot. So I've loaded it, let her shoot it before, and she's like, "Oh, that's definitely easier than the full load shit that I use." But I just prefer 12 gauge as an all around. All of mine are 12 gauges. I don't own any 20 gauges anymore. In 410, not knocking a 410, but I shot that when I was a kid. And hell, I'd shoot snakes with it. Sometimes the snakes would keep going, and it was a good shot with that snake shot shit, and even bird shot. Sometimes it wouldn't even kill a damn snake. It like 10 like shit. What was it? 7 yards. So but it's really whatever you prefer. Yes, over penetration, that's real. I mean, we went through that old farmhouse before they totally tore it down. And I mean, we shot through sheetrock, shot through freaking 2x4s. I mean, we shot the shit out of that house because we could. It was on our farm, or my grandparents' farm. Um, you know, we shot 5.56 in there. I mean, nothing was around. So even if it penetrated out of the house, we were safe all the way around. I mean, for shit, hundreds of yards. But 12 gauge, I mean, it's not a joke. So, hey, what's up, Mateo? Long time no see. I hope you were doing good, sir. Hey, Lake Ozark guy, how are you? I think 20 is highly underrated, especially for self defense. I like to see more done with 20. I like to see, or like 16 gauge to make a seriously return. In that, I mean, that is true. A lot of people, enjoy shooting the 16 gauge. Hell, I even have a 10 gauge, and it's not fun to shoot. Um, it's a punt gun. I've talked about it before. If y'all want to see what it's all about, look up 10 gauge punt gun. That thing's no freaking joke. Um, yeah, it's a beast. And 10 gauge is definitely not fun, but 16 gauge is fun. I mean, there's really not a lot of recoil behind that. It's really whatever works for you and your family. Um, but some of the shotguns are kind of heavy and awkward. Some people have a hard time aiming with them because it's a bead sight unless you have an optic on it, which I have an optic on my shotgun. And I've shot it with bead shot or beads the whole time. I've even got fiber optic on some of my 3 gun ones. But it's whatever works for you. I would recommend this for a home defense shotgun, and I'm just going to say it. Other people might not say it, but I would only recommend a pump for a home defense shotgun because it doesn't matter if it's low brass, high brass, any kind of brass. I've never really had any major failures or anything go bad with a pump shotgun. On a semi-automatic, I have locked up a Benelli. I have locked up some Mossberg 930s. Um, because sometimes they can be finicky with different types of brass. So for tactical shotguns or home defense shotguns, I would only recommend a pump. That's just my opinion. Other people may vary, but that's my opinion. You seen the new semi-automatic 20 from Rock Island Armory? Interesting to say the least. Yeah, I think Texas Gun Experience has that one, if I'm not mistaken. And I've seen a lot of those Typhoons and stuff like that too. Um, I've never shot one of those, so I don't know physically how they. I mean, I know how they work, but I just don't know how they feel or any of that. My only concern also is a magazine shotgun because and ultimately you could keep an extra magazine, shotgun magazine in your back pocket if you had to, but you're in trouble if you're running around your house with drawers on. Hell, you can't put, loose shotgun shells in your underwear. I guess you could. And I guess you could run a mag, just stick it in your elastic waistband if you really wanted to. When I was younger, I shot a lot of 410 and a lot of 20 gauge. That was kind of my go-to. I've shot 16 gauge, but I've never owned one, and we didn't have one in our family. We only had the 20s and the 410s and the 12 gauges. And I do like a 20 gauge. I mean, they're fun. Matter of fact, when I used to shoot a lot of skeet, I had a 20 gauge it was actually a hell of a shooter. But I still, just as big as I am, I still prefer a 12 gauge. And I'm kind of weird. A lot of people have said this. I like 5.56, that's fine, but I prefer a 30 cal, 308 or 300 blackout. And a lot of people say, oh, 5.56 has less recoil. Well, that's true, but I actually like to feel the recoil. Not that it hurts me. I just like to feel the recoil of a 308, and I like to feel the recoil of a 12 gauge. I don't know what it is. It just makes me feel like I'm shooting something. And I'm not trying to be sadistic or anything like that, but I've just always enjoyed, feeling the recoil. Because pistols, even when I shoot a 45, 10 millimeter, I'm not recoil sensitive to any gun, but I just like to feel, I like to feel it. Dale says, I'm not much for shotguns, prefer rifle for home defense, but I do own a 12 gauge for fun. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, I think more so back in the older days or whatever, a lot of people use shotguns for home defense. And I know a lot of people do now. I've got one sitting there ready to go, but that's probably not going to be the first thing I grab. And I actually do have a sling on my 590A1. So I keep slings. If it's going to be a home defense rifle or a home defense PCC or a home defense shotgun, you need a sling on it. Because if you had to start chasing somebody or, you get into one of these where you're tugging for rifles or shotguns, it's going to be hard for them to get the sling off of you. If it's a properly adjusted sling, not one that's, freaking 10 feet long. Oh, okay. You got it backwards. Sadistic means you like to inflict pain on others. Misogynistic. Okay, there you go. Well, I mean, it could be a little bit of both. DCC says, I'm drinking too. Have one on me. Yes, sir. Just about finished this one. We'll go ahead and kill it now. Abigail, when I start talking Texan, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just joking. But any other things that are real exciting? Got my Texas Gun Experience shirt on this evening. Favorite gun store. My home away from home. Oh, and they did get in some more Masterpiece arms if anybody's interested. They got in the MPA DS9 hybrid, the full size. I think they have 5 in stock now. They've got some with the aggressive grips, the super aggressive ones like I like, and they got some with the less aggressive. If anybody's interested, they've got like some tricked out colors with the blueberry and the reds and things like that. If anybody's looking for one, they have them in stock. 17-year-old boy shot and killed two intruders inside his home with a 12 gauge shotgun. Yes. I mean, and that is the thing. And I've said this before, a 12 gauge, you still have to aim. Okay. Don't just think you can sling shit down a long hallway. However, with the right load in a small hallway, or close up area, you could get some devastating hits with it. But you still need to aim. What was in the glass? I've been sipping on Cruson Black Diamond Estate Blackstrap Rum. Have not tried that. This was Bullet. I actually really like, that's kind of my go-to inexpensive bourbon. I really like Bullet a lot. I don't like the heavy rye. I get the regular one. Some people like the heavy rye, but I don't like a lot of rye. Nothing wrong with it. I just don't prefer it personally. But I had a triple. So, and I'm not an alcoholic, I promise y'all. But and if y'all want to tune in to Chris's chat after this, Chris at the 740, he's got a chat on in his channel after this at 8 o'clock. But I did want to say this. I appreciate all the comments, questions, thumbs up. I mean, I really, really appreciate y'all. I said this before. I did hit 19,000 subscribers, or family members, as I say, due to y'all. It really means a lot. Y'all are the ones that make this chat happen. I have been down on some videos. I haven't really put a whole bunch out because, with the job thing, just trying to get that squared away. But I do have a lot of stuff in the queue that I'm testing. Still, y'all probably saw the video on the Alpha Omega holster with the tiger stripes on it. Still been testing that. I still recommend that. It's been a great 2011 holster so far. No issues with it. And y'all can check out that video. The link is in the comments if you want to purchase one. There's no discount code. But I do have some other stuff coming in, that I'm going to be testing. Got some videos that I'll probably try to film this weekend. I've got some stuff written up, and we'll get to that soon. I've had a lot of questions about which gun, this one or this one. I've been trying to get to those also on that list. So we'll try to get the versus, this gun versus this gun. Which one would I choose? We'll try to get that knocked out too. So I just kind of wanted to let y'all know where we are. But that's kind of where we are. Let's get that 20,000. Yeah. Also, I have talked to a company, and remember, if you get those little spam bullshit things, you won, text this number, that's the shit's not real. But I have also spoken with a company about doing a real giveaway. So we're probably going to do something like that when I do hit 20,000. It'll just be, I'm not going to announce it to like just everybody, because I'm just going to say this. I don't like the giveaway slugs. Okay, I'm just going to use that word. I really want to use another word, but there's ladies on here. I don't really like doing the, hey, sign up for my giveaway videos, because then you just get a bunch of slugs that come over and they're only there for the giveaway. And I want the real subscribers to be able to win it. So, in the past, I've done some things like this where, I'll enter everybody into it, but if you're not a subscriber or you're just jumping on for a giveaway, and I know that there's always new people, but it seems like after the giveaway's over, those people just bolt and go on to the next giveaway. But I'm going to be doing something like that for y'all. So just wanted to let you know. I've got a company that, I had already spoken with them about it, and they were like, yep, we're with you. So we will do that. So, and it could be a very good one. Anybody drunk? Okay, anybody guilty of drunken shooting out in the desert? Raise your hands. I personally have not, DC. I haven't done it. I would tell you if I had, but I have not done it. No, I'm not a Nigerian prince. I said that earlier. They don't have the $1 billion waiting for me if I send them a money order of 16.95 or whatever. Yeah, I hate that crap. Well, yeah, let me rephrase that. I haven't been in the desert, but I've been at a farm. Right, Bald? I know, but you have to remember, Kathleen, Southern gentlemen, you know, I'm an old school guy, like to be respectful of the ladies. But yes, I don't drink and shoot. We have shot during the day, put all the guns up, and then drank at night. So we've been super safe about that. Even I was joking around when Bald and I were together. We shot during the day, put it all up, and drank at night. So, but I appreciate y'all. Chris is fixing to fire up his chat. I don't want to step on his toes, but like I said, y'all make all this happen. I really appreciate it so much. Very, very grateful. Y'all mean the world to me, and I'm not just saying that just to pump sand or pump, sunshine up your ass. Telling you the truth. So, but if y'all have any questions or comments after this chat, please leave them. I will get with y'all. I'm probably going to get more of those stupid spam things sending y'all crap saying you won this, or these. We've got porn. There's these porn things that are going on there. The spam shit. There's you won this prize. Text this or whatever this app is. Don't fall for any of that crap. That's not me. I'm not doing that. When I do it, I'll talk about it. Y'all will know that it's me, and we'll go from there. So, but I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all have a great night. And remember, an unarmed nation's a very weak nation. So we all got to carry on. Thanks, everyone. Y'all take care.